All right, so to take us on the next session, ladies and gentlemen, please help me make welcome Mrs. Damilola Anwade. She's the managing partner of Sprout Digital Development Limited and the founder of Codit. Ladies and gentlemen, with a resounding round of applause, help me make welcome Mrs. Damilola Anwade. And she's going to be speaking on the future of work and technology. She's a tech sis. Please appreciate our tech mommy.
Hi everyone, good morning. My name is Damilola. I'm a tech coach and the founder of the Virtual Job Bootcamp. But I need help today. I was asked to speak about the future of work and technology. What does that future look like to you? One word. Anyone, when you think about the future of work and technology, what does that look like to you? I'm hearing whispers though. You said interesting. Absolutely. Yeah. Innovation. Thank you. Anybody else? I thought somebody was going to say AI. Remote work. Extra kudi. Earning from foreign jobs. Being paid in dollars. Yes, it's getting louder the more I'm talking about the money. Time and efficiency. Absolutely. But I'm not going to talk about all that today. I'm going to focus on one. Can my slides come up, please? I'm going to focus on just one thing. And I'm going to focus on you and your role in the future of work and technology. I'm waiting for the slides. So while I wait for the slides, let me ask a question quickly. I need volunteers. I don't want to do this presentation alone. Anyone? Okay, if I said volunteer to come and collect $2,000, will I have hands? Oh yeah, now where are the hands? Thank you, please come on over. You can sit close by so that when it's time you can come. Who else? You're volunteering for $2,000. Oh, it's only women I see raising up their hands. Okay, yes, you. When I call you, just remember that you volunteered for me. And then at the back, I need 2 more people. Let me pick from the back. 2 more people. I like all this confidence, but I'm not seeing. I'm going to pick somebody out, so if I don't see, yes. With your hands raised up just in front of me, yeah. And then I need 1 more person. I have 2 men, so I probably want a woman. Yes. So just hold on to that. I have 4 people. So yeah, the future of work and technology. So I really want us to focus on the fact that I'm not going to be talking about getting money online. Next slide, please. And we've also talked about what does the future of work look like to you. And a lot of us have talked about innovation, money, more money, all those stuff. I'm not going to talk about that. I want to focus on the future of work and how the changing landscape is going to create a viral effect across the country and across the world and across Africa. And we're going to miss out on it if we don't learn to learn, unlearn, and relearn. That there's a part that we have to play. Next slide, please. And this thing that is happening has happened before. We're in a place that we have been before. Technology has changed things like this before. It's not the first time it has happened. Can we all agree that there's something happening with technology that is changing the entire world drastically? Do we all agree? Now, it has happened before. It happened with the light bulb, when this guy, Thomas, created the light bulb, right? And then it changed everything. People started to work differently. They were able to work at night. They were able to work, they worked differently. It changed the way they thought. It changed the way they saw things. It changed the opportunities available. It also changed the amount of money they were able to create for their personal income, and nations actually created more. In fact, because of the invention of the lights, what else happened? We have the industries. We have electricity happening. We had, wealth generation on so many levels. So it has happened before. This thing that we're experiencing now, not just in Nigeria, but in Africa as well, it has happened before. Then we had the second one, the printing press. In fact, the printing press to me is even very similar to what's happening now with technology and the internet and the digital age. Very similar. Is passing around. Information was passing around at a huge amount that has never happened before. In fact, because of the fact that we could now print stuff, a lot of revolutions was linked to the printing press. The revolution that happened with the Protestants was linked to the printing press. The revolution that happened in the scientific world was also linked to the printing press, just because information and knowledge sharing was happening. Now we're at the technology age. Something else is happening. Something else is happening, and I have a feeling that if we don't talk about it more, if we don't engage with it more, we're all going to miss out on it. And we're not going to be able to tap into the potential. Don't take it for granted that we have Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and all these platforms. Something is happening, and I want us to look beyond social. I want us to look beyond just, oh, I can earn a few more bucks, and look at it deeply. And I want us to connect to what is happening so that we're able to get more for ourselves and for the continent at large. It's not just, oh, I'm on Instagram and I'm on Facebook. It is that there's economic empowerment happening. It's that cultures are changing. Lifestyles are changing. Work is changing. Finances of people are changing. Some of us are sitting and complaining that, man, I don't even have 100 naira, whereas some people are earning $2,000 and they're not doing Yahoo Yahoo. But where are we in this space of things? And that's why I'm here today. I just want to encourage you to see that there's light too. There's something else that is happening. There's something else that is happening, and that's the high level of innovation is causing a huge shift. But the challenge is, are we seeing it? Are we tapping into it? And how are we tapping into it? Some people are tapping into it online saying, you know what, I'm just going to post every day and I'm consumers. And some people have decided to be the value adders, and that's where I want us to be today. So let me tell you a bit about my story. Next slide, please. So I started off by really training a lot of people. And I've trained over 4,000 people around the world. Like, you name a continent, I've most likely trained people there from all over. And in training them, I was like, what am I going to do next? So early this year, I started calling all the people I trained. I called a few people I trained. And I was like, what's happening? What are you doing now? So most of my trainings are digital trainings. Some of them are very high-skill digital trainings. Some of them are just basic digital literacy skills. And I started training people for a really long time ago. I could count maybe 15 to 20 years. But this year, I decided, you know what? I don't have any training gig with any corporates. What's going on? So I started calling people I've trained. How is it? How have you been? And 50% of the people I called said something. They said the skills I taught them transitioned them to digital jobs. That they were working for foreign companies. Me, I was broke. They were earning in dollars. The trainer was broke and they were earning in dollars. So I was like, hey, what's happening here? Is it that I'm not connecting the skill sets to digital jobs? Now let me bust your head. I was not training everybody to be web developers. Some of them were. Some of them were video editors. Some of them were not. Some of them were just basic digital skills. Email management. How to manage their online calendar. How to send emails. How to type documents. How to use basic Excel. How many of us can do that? Some people are confidently not raising their hands. How many of us can do that? And you don't even have to know how to do all of that. You just need to know how to do something. So now I want my volunteers to come up. We're going to do an experiment. I want you to see it from another perspective. And I don't want you to look at this like, she's coming to scold me. That's not what I'm coming to do here. I just want you to see it the way I began to see it. I'd been training for 15 years and I didn't see it this way until today. So where are my volunteers? Please come on over. Where are my volunteers? Next slide, please. Where are my volunteers? Please come on over. And don't be nervous because I talked about digital skills. I actually want everyone to stand here. Come on over. Please, a round of applause for them. You think it's easy? So I want you all to stand here. Just stand. No, you're not facing the audience side yet. So we're going to play that challenge. Our last speaker was talking about challenges. I brought another Instagram challenge for you. And this challenge is take a step forward, but it is digital edition. So now, if the answer applies to you, you take one step forward. Please don't take big steps, just gentle steps forward. Okay, I'm going to start easy. Don't worry. No pressure. No pressure. Take a step forward if you have access to a computer, a mobile phone, or a smart device. Right? Awesome. You're on the same step, right? Good. Now take another step forward if you have access to good internet. Awesome. Thank you. Now take a step forward if you have basic digital skills. You know how to use Excel, Microsoft Word. Now wait, so basic digital skills for me is very intentional. It has to be this full package. You know how to use Microsoft Word. If I ask you to process a document now, you can do it. You can type my slides and get my slides up. You know how to present. You know how to use Excel basic. You don't need to use Excel as a data scientist. Just basics. You know, understand calendars, email, and the like. And you can turn on and turn off a computer and do basic troubleshooting if there's an issue with your phone or your internet or your computer. Take a step forward. Good. Now take a step forward if you have any kind of in-demand digital skills. In-demand digital skills are skills that anybody will pay you in good dollars right now to earn. Take a step forward. Okay, don't worry, it's fine. Now take a step forward if you've worked remotely in any form. You've done any kind of online job. You've worked for anybody, even if you've worked partially and at your office they said, only work remotely for 1 day out of 5 days. Okay. Now take a step forward if you have ever interned, worked on a part-time job, you've done any kind of job, then take a step forward. Okay. Okay. No, you're laughing. Okay, now, I have another one more. Take a step forward if you have any kind of physical skills that you think are digitally transferable. It means that you might be doing something physically, but you know that I can do this thing online, and I can get paid for it. Take a step forward if you think you have one. Okay. Now, take a step forward if you have ever heard of any of these things and you know how to use them. Asana, Trello, any kind of, which other one? Slack. Anyone. You've never heard of anyone. Even if it's just one and at least you can use that one. Now, take a step forward if you have any kind of professional online profile. Not Instagram. Instagram is not part of this one. Instagram is not part of it. Twitter is not part of it. Your TikTok account is not part of it. What is that other one? Snapchat is not part of this conversation. Any other professional one? I'm talking about LinkedIn. Take a step forward. Now, can you all see the gap? We all started out on the same place. We all started out with internet access. We all started out with smart mobile phones. But we don't all end at the same place. And can you see the difference between where they started and where they ended? What was the big difference? It wasn't access. So the other people that have access problems, those ones are not here. But amongst us, all of us took the first 2 steps. So it was not access. What was it? So this was the catch. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Please, a round of applause for them. A round of applause. It takes guts to stand here and confess that I've done this, I've not done that. So let's move on to the next slide. So this is what happened. After training all these people and I started talking to them, the thing that surprised me was not the fact that they started working online. The thing that surprised me is that from training them in the classroom, I could tell you the ones that will be successful. I could literally predict the people that would be good for online jobs and would get to where they got to and earning that money. And this was the difference. I noticed certain things in them. The first thing I noticed is that the people that actually got those jobs were the people in class that used to learn. It's not everybody that comes to my sessions that learn. No. And it's not because I'm not teaching, it's just because of their personal, interest in getting things done. And that there were some people that were always learners. You could look at them and say, this person loves to learn. I noticed that those ones got jobs, online jobs, and they were successful digitally. Then I also noticed that some of them learned that being online was not for share, it wasn't for play. It was to be productive and to be efficient. And people that focused on that productivity and efficiency when they were handling digital, they were more successful as well. The next one I also noticed is that they built in-demand skills. Did you see when I asked, how many of you have in-demand skills? Only one person could come forward. Now, there are a lot of skill sets that you can have online, but if you're not intentional about building in-demand digital skills, I'll give you an example of what that is. Video editing is an in-demand skill. Have you noticed? Who's noticed? Web development is an in-demand skill. Content writing is an in-demand skill, right? So when you're thinking about people doing certain things, data scientist is an in-demand skill. Somebody said she was a data. Those are in-demand skills. So even if you go on Google and you Google in-demand skills, you will see them. Those people were intentional about building those kind of skill sets and they nailed it. The people that were actually successful as well, they were consistent too. See, I can tell you by your consistency how successful you will be. And they were consistent. They were consistent in searching for knowledge. They were consistent in doing things. They were consistent in volunteering. They just built that consistency over time. And they were consistent in sharing. So another one was they didn't take no. Oh my God, they were the people that used to disturb me in class. They would harass me, please show me this, Coach Dami, what is this, what is that? But they were those people. Those were the people that were successful digitally. They were personally motivated. I couldn't be their motivation. Men know how to ginger, but they came with their own ginger. So I didn't have to do a lot of talking. It wasn't based on my ginger that they learned. They learned based on, I need this job for this. The personal motivation, for some of them, it was that their mother, they wanted to travel, fly their mother abroad. For some of them, they just wanted to have a better life. So some of them, they were learning because they wanted to jackpot. But they kind of realized that even without jackpot, I could get those jobs. And then for some of them, they made healthy digital choices. And I'm going to give you an example. There was a lady that I trained and I used to coach. Every single week, she will come to my office and be like, what can I help you do? And every single week, I noticed she was learning one thing or the other. She was either learning to be a video editor or learning, content creation or learning to use a particular platform. They were healthy digital choices. And if I asked her, did you see my message I sent you on Instagram? She's more likely not going to be on Instagram. She's going to be somewhere learning her skills and mastering her craft. And I noticed that with every single person that worked with me or worked with me during that training, it wasn't about the training. It was about the habits and the digital habits that they made their own. And those were the success traits of being successful digitally. So how does that affect you and me? How do you, next slide please, how do we bridge that gap between the people at the beginning and the people at the end? See, it's very simple. And this is what I say in every single training. Learn, unlearn, and relearn. Learn, unlearn, and relearn. And here's how. What am I asking you to learn? Understand the digital landscape. There is a digital landscape and it is available, but you need to understand it. Don't look at it as just social media. It is way beyond that. The way you're having, the last speaker talked to you about understanding developments. It's the same way you need to understand how the whole thing is shaped online. There's a shape to it. Take out time to understand it and understand where the opportunities lie. The next thing you need to do is you need to unlearn. You need to unlearn. Let me tell you one of the first things you need to unlearn. You need to learn this thing as my opportunity is in a box. Opportunities are so endless now. Walls are falling. There is no wall blocking you from learning this thing. You remember what we talked about in the beginning. As long as you have a smartphone and you have internet access, you have opportunities. The question now is before you, are you seeing it? So make sure you have to unlearn that mindset of, I have to be in Nigeria. I promise you, some people in Nigeria are earning more than the people that jackpot. And they're only doing that, why? Because they have those digital skills and they've connected to learning. You also have to unlearn the way they taught us to write CVs. If you write your CV the way we write it in Nigeria now, you will not get a job abroad. You need to unlearn it. That's for me, one of the biggest learning. Things have shifted. If you're writing it and you're writing your age and you're writing your local government area and you're writing Osun State and you're writing your address, it's not going to work. You have to unlearn how you package yourself. It's also beyond CVs. Now, people are posting online and you're doing clap back when, people are looking at those online profiles and saying, I'm not going to hire this person. So you really need to connect to what's happening. Your CV is just a little bit of what you need. Your digital profile is your digital. It's literally your digital real estate. And if you miss it, you miss it. Once you've typed something in, you cannot go back and say, I want to. Even if you untype it, there's a record. People are pulling out records of, the president and the recently elected president of the United States because it's there. It's a record. So understand that your digital, what you're putting online, forever. Even if they tell you they deleted it and you want to pay somebody to clean up, not so cleaned up after all. Oh. Somebody has already screenshots before you could delete. So just understand that your CV is just a percentage of that, and you need to unlearn that. You seriously need to unlearn that. To me, that's one of the biggest hindrances of people getting those digital jobs. And then you need to relearn. Relearn how to position yourself online. You can get those jobs. In fact, I don't see why anybody cannot get a digital job, whether it's to work in Nigeria or abroad. Do you know how much they're paying? Does anybody have a guess? Calculate $1,000 for just knowing how to type a document. What's that in Naira? 1.7 million. 1.7 million. That's basic secretariat work. 1.7 million, and it goes upwards. So just think about it in terms of how many Nigerian companies can afford to pay us 1.7 million to just, come and type. Do you know any? I don't know any. And that's really what it is. So before I close, two more things. There's a place for Nigeria, there's a place for you, and there's a place for Africa at large in this digital portfolio. 1 second. Okay, that's such a dramatic closing. So there's a place for you, there's a place for Nigeria, and there's a place for Africa. And this is why I'm passionate about it. There is money to be made. The question is, are we positioned for it? There's money to be made. So when I talk to you as individuals, I also talk to government officials here. We need to set Nigeria on that end to collect the money. There's $10 billion to be made from remote work alone. And I'm not talking about other IT industries. I'm only talking about remote work alone. 10 billion, and our personal pockets are dry. It cannot be. It's not an option. There's money to be made. So as I talk to individuals to step it up, I'm also talking to government to step it up. India, digital India, huge transformation. When people think about India, they're getting all the outsourcing jobs. We want to get those jobs too. We want Nigeria to improve. And then finally, there's money to be made, and we want international and development partners to partner with the youths of Nigeria to make that happen. There's money to be made, and there's incomes to be earned, and there's economic empowerment to happen. We will do our part. We will learn, we will learn, and we will learn. But we also want that the government of Nigeria, that in the development partners, also help us by creating an enabling environment for these things to thrive. But you already have the foundation. Don't look at it as, oh, Nigeria is not doing enough. You have two core things. You have internet access, and you have your mobile phones. The question now is, what are you doing with them? God bless.